Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is a great morning. We've made it another week, and I'm trusting that it's been a good week. I know there's lots of challenging things happening in the world today, and a lot of challenging things happening in people's lives. I know um, in my community, we've had several losses, and so this is a day that we should get up and say, I made it. I'm grateful, thankful. Um, I I appreciate the people around me. I appreciate the opportunities I receive. I appreciate my ability to be able to still produce and give the world something that they need and they wouldn't have if I weren't here. That's not to be arrogant. It's really, or boastful, it's really a fact. Each of us are here to produce something that the world wouldn't have if we were not here. And so, congratulations, you made it another week to produce what you've been called to do, to produce what you were created to do. This is Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, and we talk about the behaviors that influence organizations and therefore impact not only the people internally, but those that they look to serve and therefore impacting the bottom line, right? So we want to make sure that we are doing our very best, producing our very best, being our very best, so that we can receive and have better and greater results. So that's what we do at Company Culture. That's the whole emphasis of this podcast that happens every week on Thursdays, and I base it on my work with those that I've worked with, my clients, and my own personal experiences. I am the author of Conquering Corporate Enemies, Mind, Personalities, and Situations. And as I was reflecting this week over my experiences this year, we're most of us, if not all of us, are in a time of planning for what's next for 2022. Some of us started that even earlier than now, and we're putting things in place and we're seeing things happen so that we can be assured that what we want, the outcome we expect in 2022, we're setting ourselves up for that success. And so as I reflected on the people that I've been able to privilege to work with and help in my coaching business, I realized that many of them come from a perspective of they've been hurt, they've not been supported properly, and they've actually, some of them felt like, and have in many cases, been put in positions where they would be at the mercy of a leader. Um, the people that they were working with, that they were partnering with, kept coming and taking and taking and taking from them and never pouring into them. And their expectation, rightfully so, was that the person who was leading them, the organization that were in, would help them to have greater success, not to demean or diminish their success. So they were, quite honestly, disheartened, feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I feel like I have one person in mind, and every time I heard their story, it was like I had a feeling of bondage. They were in bondage. How could I ever get out of this? And I literally mean bondage. They were being basically treated like a slave. And so I know many of us some don't experience those, but there are many who have had working experiences, or even in ministry, or when you're come alongside a community group for a movement and you really there, or your heart is there because you want to help make that movement go forward, and the very people that you're trying to help really are oppressing you. They really are not allowing you to come forth. You're not getting the support that you're giving. It's not equal sacrifice where you're giving for their vision, but yet you're not getting anything out of it. And so, how do I come out of that? That's the question today. And I wanted to share that because I've had plenty of experience in working and coaching people in this very space. People who have taken on new assignments because it felt like and it seemed like it was a great opportunity. But when they got there, it was really a setup to be used or to not, yes, to be used to be able to step into a place where that person, that leader should have been taking the helm and the lead on those tougher conversations, but they bring somebody else in to do the work. And so some might be saying, well, hey, that's a job. That's an opportunity to perform. Absolutely. But you should be able to have the expectation that the one you're performing for, the organization that you're performing for, will support you in that and reward you for having great success and superior outcomes. So the question again is, how do I come out of that? How do I rise up out of a place of oppression? How do I rise up out of a place, a hole that may have been dug for me, so that I can really shine and I can get on with my life of abundance. I can get on with my life of moving forward and not be in this holding pattern or this suppressing pattern. So, the first thing I would like to say to you is that in many of those situations, right, wrong, or indifferent, we've probably given more power. They have given more power to the people around them and in their leadership than they should have. We need to maintain our own power, our own identity. And thank you for those who have joining. Will you please share this, because I'm sure I know it will help many people. So if you would share this, it would be an awesome help. And also, I'm on YouTube at Yvette Owens. See Owens, you can subscribe and like and get and go back and see many of these productions, as well as at Company Culture on Facebook. So when you are in that position of feeling and knowing that you are not getting the best support that you need, how do you come out of that hole? How do you come out of that place of feeling helpless and you don't know where to turn? And so the first thing is, again, I've found that people give others more power for their destiny and purpose than we should. We have to own our own success. And we should have people coming alongside us and partnering with us to achieve that success. But there are times when you run into people who are not interested in that. And when they're not, recognize it. Don't dwell on it. It is what it is. It is what it is. But you then take your own purpose, your own destiny into your own hands, and you begin to move forward. Where is it that you do want to be? What is it that you do want to accomplish, even in the role where you have been suppressed or oppressed? So you might say, well, why would I perform there? Because every opportunity that you have to shine and rise above the expectations of others that may have poor expectations of you because of seeds planted by others, or maybe you have tripped up and you made a mistake and that's been held against you for the rest of your life in that space. Every opportunity that you have to rise above that, to prove them wrong, you should take it. So if your plan is to move someplace else, until you do that, you perform at your superior. You perform and you keep doing your very best, because facts are undeniable. They may try to deny it, but others see what's happening. And you never know who else in that organization understand the plight, your plight, who understand what you're having to come up against and face every day. And once you start to move and show up strong and positive, who will help you along the way? They might help you undercover, and I've had that happen to me. There's people who have come alongside me and say, I don't understand why they're not recognizing you. I don't understand why they're not coming alongside you, but here's some things that I suggest you do, or here's some opportunities, or I heard of this. So you never know who's watching. So don't fall back, don't step back, but continue to perform and achieve in that space. The next thing is to have a plan. Have a plan of action. And not just any plan of action, but a strategic plan of action. Know what it is. You're filling a gap, right? Because they would not keep you there if you were not. What gap are you filling? Create a plan to know that you absolutely can fill that gap, not only for you as you filling it while you're there, but you can put in a place, something in place that it will be a legacy that you leave. So you will fill that gap and come up with solutions that will last long after you leave. Because there's nothing more satisfying than leaving a place knowing that they will miss you when you're gone. They will miss you, especially. So you're not doing it out of meanness or anything, but you want to make sure people understand your value. They might have missed the opportunity to do that when you were there, when you get to the next place, but they will know that they had a person of value in their midst that they might have not taken advantage of. So your plan of action should be, how do I perform here? What can I do while I'm here? As well as, what is my next? So you start to look at yourself not as through the eyes of those who are around you, those who you would expect to help you, but you look at your identity and yourself as who you truly are. And you start with, I am. Stop there. You start with, who am I, without all the signs, without all the designations, without all the titles behind that. Who am I? Because once you are so secure in I am Yvette C. Owens, regardless of what title you give me, regardless of what position you put me in, then that gives me a step up to be able to move in any sphere of influence that I choose. I choose to go into. So let's then again identify I am. And once you identify I am, then you can decide and look for, where's my next I am this, right? And you identify that because you create a strategy as to where you want to go in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years. And that's what I do with my coaching clients. And that's what I've done for everyone who I'm reflecting on as I'm sharing this information with you. I ask, where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? What do you think you are here to contribute to the world and the universe? And once we've established that and anchored on that, then we put together a plan to get there. Put a plan to get there. And so now, guess what? Performance in the space where they're being oppressed, where they're being neglected, automatically rises, because now I'm not focused on these things and these attacks that are coming at me, but I'm focused on the greater. I'm focused on the bigger. I'm focused on where I'm headed, and it has absolutely no dependency on the person who has not helped me this far. It is all depending on me and the next, and those who are around me who say, I see your value, I see your worth, and I'm willing to help you. Okay, so you have a plan of action. Keep going. Recognize your resources. Recognize your resources, your resourcefulness. Nothing more empowering than know that I've been through this trial, I've been through this tribulation, I've been through these attacks, I've had to pour out, I've worked long hours, I produced and produced and produced and got so little back. But you keep performing. Why? Because it's really less about the organization or the team or that person who is not recognizing your greatness. It's more about you continuing to nurture and building the I am in you. Okay. And then lastly, I want to say to you, communicate. And this is where diplomacy comes in. I'm known as the business ambassador, which takes great diplomacy. Diplomacy is being able to deal with people in a very sensitive and tactful way, but still relaying the truth. Diplomacy is being able to articulate even very some difficult things in a very effective way that people can receive it and then act upon it. If you have a hard message or you have something that people aren't ready to receive, and you just throw it at them or you just say, you know what, you guys aren't treating me right. All of that is not going to get you where you want to be because it puts up force fields. If people put up defense walls, they put up they just put up offensive walls. They put up all kinds of walls just to stop you and to shut you down. But diplomacy is where we need. How do I convey my message to you in truth, but in a sensitive way that you can receive it? So when I say you're coming out of this hole that they've dug for you, you coming above the propaganda that is continued to be spewed at you when you know it's just propaganda. It's not truth. They're not being integral. They're not, and it may, you know what? I don't think that some people in that space are being manipulative. I don't think that they really even are trying to be harsh or just mean or outright hold you. I think many people do not know the impact of what they're doing. Hence why I come weekly to talk about company cultures. Because when we understand that the company culture rules and is king, and we can be intentional about us shifting that culture and making it a healthy culture, then we can do better, produce better, and give people a better environment in which to work and to aspire to be themselves, and not only aspire to, but be inspired to be their best and be their best. So you're coming out of this hole. You know that you've been oppressed. You know that things are not going your way, even though and now you come up with a plan. Because you've spent time with I am, identifying I am, before you put a title behind it. Because if you're not secure in that I am, then you won't be secure in the next title. You'll always have these underpinnings. You'll always have what happened in this situation following you, thinking that maybe they were right. Maybe I wasn't good enough, but they kept depending on you. Maybe I couldn't be trusted, but they continue to allow you to open their business every morning and close it every evening. Maybe I'm not worthy, but they continue to allow you to man their organization while they went out of town or things like that. So, look, it doesn't add up. But when you buy in to the propaganda, when you buy into that talk that's coming to you, that negative talk, it doesn't add up when you look at the level of responsibilities that they give you and yet the negative talk that they're giving you. So start to step back to step up. Don't step back and like, I'm giving up. But step back, take a deep breath to step up into who I am. Recognize who you are. Have a plan. And if you want to create a plan, if you want to know how to move forward, if you find yourself in this space, connect with me. That's how I coach people. And I've had many people in this scenario that have risen to owning their own business, have risen to moving on to other leadership roles at other organizations where they know this is my right spot. And it still may be some tough things there, but I know as long as I know I'm in my right place, I can now soar. I can achieve really I'm solving the problems that are in my heart that I want to solve. I'm being the solution that I want to be. If that's you, reach out to me, connect to me, and we can start your coaching plan today. And while you're there, communicate. So that's my last point. Communicate. What am I communicating, Yvette? I already know how they feel about it. You're communicating your plan, your goals. Because again, some people are just sleeping on you. And when they see that you're not succumbing any longer to their behaviors or their actions, and you really have a plan and you really have goals, and you start sharing that, it may turn around right in the space where you're in. It may. And you may desire that because you may you may have decided, I joined this organization because I do believe in the vision. I do want to help. But you just came into a toxic environment. If it's your right place, and once you start communicating your goals, what you see for the organization, how you see yourself helping to be a solution, it just may turn that behavior around for you. And that's what you're about. This is a time when you can be a little selfish, right? But you're really not, because you believe in that vision. So you're being selfish in the sense that you're placing yourself in the best position you can to be a help. The other reason why you want to communicate is because they now know you have a plan. And where they may be able to help, they will help. If they can't help, okay. But what that does for you is it now reinforces you. It gives you that confidence boost that you need again. It reignites the fire in you to say, I'm going for all that I know. I'm learning. I'm being coached. I'm going after my goal, and my goal is my goal. And I'm no longer giving people the power to say whether I can achieve that or not. So you might find yourself in a place where you are feeling absolutely stuck. You're not alone. You're not alone. My coaching clients many of them have felt that way and actually were in that place. Let me be one person to acknowledge to you, you probably are right. Because sometimes we just need to have somebody tell us and listen to our story and say, you know what, you're not imagining this. But when you talk to me, and when you decide to work with me, it's not only that I'm going to say, you know what, you are not imagining this, but now I can help you with a plan that will take you from that hole that you feel that you're in to the very place where you want to be. I am hopeful, and I'm sure that this has helped many of you, because we sometimes, when you're in that hole, circumstances, situations might have gotten you there, but then if we just give up, we are the ones that put the dirt on ourselves and cover up the hole, and we end up being buried in it. I'm saying, don't bury yourself in it. Let's work together so you can come out of that hole. And it doesn't even have to be a climb. When you do it yourself, you're climbing out of the hole step by step. When you get a coach, and you get a strong coach, and you coach with me, you're going to be lifted out of that hole. So I look forward to talking to you. I look forward to working with you, because your greater is just a lift away from you. Have a tremendous day. Have an awesome week. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I look for working with your teams. If you're a leader and you're finding that your team is in a space where they're no longer believing that together you can achieve, let's talk. Let's not only talk, but allow me, bring me in so I can help your team ignite that fire and move forward into where you all committed to move together to be. Because together you have people you want to serve. Together you have products you want to bring to the marketplace. Together you will be the great thing that you see. Have an awesome weekend. Again, I'm Yvette C. Owens. I look forward to working with you. Check me out on Facebook at Company Culture with Yvette Owens, on YouTube with Yvette C. Owens. My website is thediplomatchronicles.com, also destinyspeak.com. We are here for you. Have an awesome weekend. Bye-bye.